everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. We're back on Project Cars 2 and we're going to test the AI out. As you can see, we managed to get ourselves qualified in P3 against 115% AI with a 1 minute 45.6, so a reasonably okay lap. It was about 3 tenths off our time trial lap that we uploaded. Obviously all damage and mechanical failures, everything is on for this race, so it's not a bad lap considering that. And the race we made a couple of alterations to the setup that I think negatively affected our speed a bit. We lowered the acceleration diff a bit and raised it a bit to make it so it was a bit more grippy, and it kind of affected our speed through some of the corners. But as you can see, going through this from the start, we get a nice start going into the lead. Now we've got to spot our braking distance. You can see behind us the AI are all racing fairly okay. I set it at only 40% aggression. I think you could probably go a little bit lower than that also. It's hard to really say whether it's there is issues with the AI. I think if you put it to 120%, the AI start doing abnormal lap times, as in like low 1 minute 44s, which you can't do in a GT3 car in a race condition. It's just not possible. No one will be hitting them times in race conditions with full fuel and stuff. So I even seen, I think, a 43.9 randomly. It was as if the car just boosted down the straight. So we set it at 115%, which is what I've done for this race. You can see this was I think we did a couple of practice sessions to get the AI where we wanted them, obviously, and then we went into, this was our first actual race that we done. But like I say, in the practice sessions, the AI were hitting abnormal times. I don't know if they were running quali fuel or race fuel, but 1 minute 43s, if it was quali fuel, is still too fast. And even then, I don't think they tend to run the heavy fuel in the practice sessions. I get the feeling from what I've seen so far. So either way, it was a little bit weird. But as you can see, we managed to build up a reasonable lead from P2 and P3 in this race against 115% AI, which is normal on races against AI, because in general the AI in the first lap are a little bit erratic. I have to apologise for the pop-ups appearing in the bottom right hand corner. I still need to take the notifications off for when I'm doing these videos. I need to work out how to do it as well. I don't know how to do it on Steam yet. I need to just find that out, and I'll have that sorted very soon. But as you can see there, straight away they're starting to catch up a bit now. The first lap, is even on a set course, they seem to be a little bit slow off the mark. Obviously getting through turn 1, and they're not the best, but in this race they actually stayed fairly clean. There wasn't too much contact, and it was actually fairly good to see, because comparing this to Project Cars, the original game, it seems like the AI are much better. But as you can see now, the guy behind is starting to close in on our slipstream. I'm driving the Ferrari 488, obviously the car we set up with the YouTube video we did the other day. I'm going to link you the setup for what I'm using now in the description. The only things we altered were we put the brake vent opening to about 40-50% for the race, and we had adjusted the on power diff, but I think we should have kept it as what it was. And obviously the radiator vents, we opened it up to about 50%, I think, for this, because I don't really know what I need to do in terms of, this is really the first actual race I've done of any sort of distance on the game, so it was kind of a learning thing for myself. Although I think I probably had the vents about right, maybe I could have gone more aggressive, but it wasn't a massive issue. The only issue I had was with the diff that I changed. It was slowing me down through some of the corners. I think we could have got our laps down to around consistently in low 46s, obviously, if we practiced this, and probably could have got our race pace into the 45s. I think if it was a league race, for example, we'd be getting our qualifying right down to low 45s, and obviously race pace probably into the late 45s, early 46s consistently. But obviously it wasn't a league race. I was just jumped on and wanted to race the AI, so the pace isn't 100% there. I still need to learn the little things you need to do for the race. Obviously slightly different handling when you put the fuel on, but I got used to it fairly quick. We got down to, you can see, the first lap I did 47.1, obviously just getting used to it. And you can see the AI, I started to get a little bit worried about the way the AI was driving into some of these corners. You can see they were fairly aggressive into that turn 1. They seemed to be able to brake abnormally late, so it started making me a little bit nervous in some of the corners as well, and that wasn't really helping our lap times. But I think this lap we managed to improve our lap a fair bit to the AI. But you can see they're starting to close up on us now and starting to make a charge on us. You can see there's a gap between 3rd and 4th. It seems like this is a free car race for the lead, and you can see we're already nearly 4 attempts up on that lap that we had done there. And we're only on the first sector, so there was a lot of potential. I think definitely, if I was to practice this for a league race, we'd definitely be hitting late 45s, early 46s consistently every lap. Just with the fuel. Obviously, if you added more fuel on, you're probably going to have to adjust in times. But this was with 15 laps of fuel. Obviously, if we were running like 30 laps, 35 laps of fuel for races, you probably would be looking at maybe mid 46s consistently, I'd say at least. But you can see there, we're still up on our previous fastest lap. Going through that chicane, managed to stay in limits. We've obviously got all the limits set on so that we've got to stay in the limits as well. So everything's pretty much as realistic as you're going to get it. We've got it on the default conditions also. That's how I prefer to do the setups for anything, because if you start straying away from the default conditions, you've got to alter the setups a fair amount. But you can see now the Audi R8 behind me is getting in that slipstream, and he's really... The annoying thing I find on this game as well with the AI is they don't follow your slipstream. I don't see if it would be that hard for them to add in somehow, but they just stay in a straight line. They don't follow your slipstream, so it's a little bit frustrating that they don't do that. But as again, he brakes really late, and he actually gives us a little knock into turn 1. I was really starting to get nervous the way they were driving into that turn 1. They brake super late, and he gives us a little knock into turn 1, and he actually falls back to 3rd place because of that knock. And now we've got the other Audi R8 behind us, who didn't seem to have as much speed as the white R8. I was able to match this guy's speed, as you could see before when he was behind the white Audi R8. He wasn't really making any moves on that Audi R8, so we're managing to hold our position here now, and I'm fairly happy with how this race is going so far. It's really enjoyable, and again, I apologise for the pop-ups in the bottom corner. I really do. If anyone, leave it in the comments if you know how to do it, because I haven't even looked into how to do it yet. Just leave them in the comments how I remove that, because it is really annoying that keeps happening. It's done it for a while now when I'm playing Project Cars. If it's a time trial, I end up just redoing the lap, etc. But for the race, I couldn't really do it. It was too long a race to keep redoing. So going to the end of lap 4, you can see our lap time's not amazing on this lap. We managed a 46.6, I think it was, on lap 3. So it shows you the potential in the setup is definitely there. It surprised me how many little changes you had to make from the time trial setup to the race setup. In general, what I found so far for this was, if it worked in qualifying, in terms of time trial, it worked in qualifying, and it also felt okay in the race conditions. So overall, it feels reasonably good, and I've got no real problems in terms of the setups for the race. And you can see we're still in the 46, the 46.8, a little bit slow, but we made that error into turn 1 where we got hit. It really did just make it a little bit awkward going through that corner, and we lost a bit of time. The other thing I think I did for the race as well was up the ABS to about 85%, I think, just to try and keep the brakes a little bit working a bit better. I don't know if that was probably a negative thing to do, but I mean, possibly that might be why they were able to brake a lot later than us. I'm not really too sure. I get the feeling that the AI has some weird traits where they can gain speed in very weird places and get abnormal grip levels. It's one thing that happens. It also happens on a settled course, so I've noticed the AI sometimes randomly pick up grip from corners and are able to just keep accelerating and keep their line. They're definitely not running on the same physics as you, the player. That's one thing I can definitely say. I've seen it in I remember I did a race in the Clios a long time ago, and I was racing 120% AI, and the car behind would randomly gain stupid amounts of speed down the straights, and then when it was in front of you, it wouldn't accelerate anymore, as if it had some kind of rubber banding on when you put 120% AI on. So they'd just randomly get ahead of you on the straights no matter what you did. There's no way the Clio should have accelerated as much as it did, and then you'd be behind them and they wouldn't pull away on the straights after that. It's really strange. Maybe it's just something they increase the power on the cars, or it's got some rubber banding on it, but it does distract it from the immersion sometimes. But you can see they're giving me a good race in this. This is one thing I do like about Project Cars, is that you can set the AI obviously all the way up to 120%, so you can find a nice level for a good battle in a race. Luckily, this was pretty much because I knew the 120% AI are a little bit too fast from previous experience and obviously the practice session. The next set we went to was 115%, and it seems to be quite a nice set to race him against. It keeps you on the toes. Obviously, we're not battling in midfield. We've got the pace over 4th, 5th and 6th comfortably. They're actually, if you look on that top right hand corner, you can see I'm actually holding off second place fairly comfortably comfortably as well. He didn't seem to be able to get close enough to make a move, and I seemed to have the speed through most of the lap. It was just that white Audi R8 that had the speed over me really in terms of braking power and stuff. You can see, looking back now, you can see the gap we've got between ourselves and 4th, 5th and 6th. I think the 4th's in a Mercedes AMG, another strong car on this track. And it's actually strange that the Audi R8 is so strong with the AI on this track as well. It's very weird because the Audi R8 in general is not the fastest car on this track. I'm going to redo the setup that I did for the Audi R8 because I'm pretty confident I can get that into the 45s as well. However, I don't think I could get the Audi R8 to a 45.3 as easily as I did with the setup that we did for this car. So, not too sure about that, but again, it just shows there's something a little bit strange with the physics or something going on with the AI's physics. But overall, I was having a good time racing them at this point. I was enjoying actually being able to race and have someone behind me, because if you go online a lot of the time in project cars, you will find that you jump into lobbies and people are not that fast in general. There is fast people out there, but if finding them, there's no matchmaking system, so finding a good race is so awkward and hard to do. So this for me is quite a good way to test out setups and stuff. So I might do shorter races in the future, just like 7-lap races or something, just to test the setup out over more laps. And you can see there that black Audi R8 is looking into that braking zone again. He's definitely got the ability to brake late than us there as well, but he just didn't seem to be able to get close enough to us in that braking zone to make a proper attempt at an overtake. Still putting in reasonable lap times, 46s and 47s. Obviously the 47s are hitting him once it's getting a bit messy with someone tapping me or something, but in general I felt pretty confident getting 46s in clean air if there was no one around me. I'm pretty sure if I did a run with no AI, you see that we had a massive moment on that chicane, but we saved it really comfortably. That's one thing I do need to put up is my force feedback settings, because I have altered my force feedback and the type of force feedback I use, and what I have found with it is it's a lot easier to catch the rear with the force feedback I now use. It feels a little bit closer to what a Assetto Corsa feels like. Obviously still not as good as I'd say a Assetto Corsa for the force feedback, but it definitely feels a lot closer. So I'm going to post them very soon, so hopefully we'll have that video out maybe on the weekend or something, because it's not a hard feeling to do. I have got the footage there, I've just got to obviously get that video out and then you guys can see what you think. I've noticed that it definitely feels able to catch the rear a lot easier with the settings I've got on my force feedback. Anyway, getting back to the race, you can see we're coming up to the midway point in the race now. We're pretty much halfway around the distance that I've done, the 15 laps obviously. The tyres as well, you'll notice I've managed to get the tyres fairly comfortable in the balance as well with the setup that I did. I think I did adjust the setup possibly for the race with the tyre pressures. I might have gone lower on the front left with the PSI because it was starting to go up a little bit high. But we managed to keep it fairly stable around 26. I think the front left does sometimes creep to 27. But I'm happy with that. I'm not too worried about it. As long as it stays green and the tyres are working as I want them to, then I'm happy with the PSIs being around 26 and sometimes 27. That's okay. That's obviously the tyre pressures that I always try and keep. And you can see there, the white Audi R8 is having a look at the black Audi R8, and it looks like he's going to make a move into the chicane up ahead. Let's just see if they come in on the camera. You can see him in the distance. They're battling away, a little bit of touching going on. And it shows you that at least they're aggressive and they will make overtaking moves. It's good to see from AI that they do that, like, kind of realistic way they overtake people. So now we've got to really get our foot down, because this white Audi R8 is a real fast car. You can see we're actually matching our fastest lap at that point now. But I think we made a little error on this lap, I'm not too sure. You can see there we lost a bit of time on the exit there. Obviously his tyre wear's starting to get a little bit of tyre wear, nothing major. Obviously they're not in their prime condition now. We're on lap 8, still got half the race's fuel on board. We've obviously got the hard tyres on, we're not using the soft tyres, we've got the hard tyres on because it's the default conditions, so temperatures are fairly warm in the default conditions. And you can see now, looking behind, you're going to have a little look on that top right hand corner now on the TV replay camera. You're going to see that white Audi R8 getting into our slipstream and starting to look like he's catching us already. The black Audi R8 just definitely didn't have the speed compared to that white one. But it was good that this situation was like this, because I think the black one had very similar to our type of speed, but that white Audi was just, it just seemed to be a little bit faster. He was the guy who got pole I think in the qualifying with I think he managed a 45.0, which is equivalent to the world record time on the leaderboards at the moment. So it shows you that 115% AI are pretty much perfect to race. I think you can see he makes a look down that inside. He's actually gone for the overtake. I tried to hold it around this inside. I battled him away, and he actually backed out of the move, which was interesting because I expected him to gain the grip and just go around the outside, but he actually backed out of the move. And we held on there from that corner, held the position. I didn't want to give this up to the AI. I wanted to fight this to the end. So this is going to be a great battle now, all the way to the end. You can see we're going to be fighting it out to the finishing line, I can tell you that now. And we're still in the lead. Obviously we lost a lot of time on that chicane though. We lost nearly 7/10 of a second just battling away on turn 1, and this is where the lap times are obviously going to start dropping because we're going to start battling away. You can see we're actually, last lap was back in the 146s, so we were still able to hit them 46s. So it does show you how confident I was with this setup and how well it was driving. There probably would be minor change if I was doing a league race. Obviously you'd be practicing this over a week and you'd be making fine adjustments to that setup just to get it exactly where you wanted. You can see now, I think the braking is the area I'd want to try and concentrate on, but then I think that's more to do with the fact that the AI had just some random ability to brake. You can see going through that chicane, he's still in our slipstream. Looking at the delta, he's 0.6 seconds behind us, and he really does start gaining on the straights in the slipstream. You can see it's strange that they don't follow your slipstream though. I don't know if I do it on this lap. You're going to see now. I really wish they did, because it would make the racing a lot more immersive, I think, if they followed your slipstream like a real person would. I can't remember if Assetto Corsa they do it on Assetto Corsa, but they definitely don't. I mean, look at that. He just stays over to the left hand side, doesn't even follow our slipstream. And again, I'm going to have to defend because I know that they lunge into this corner. Look how far back he is in that mirror, and watch where he brakes from. We're braking pretty much on the 150, and just look at that braking that he does. Again, I'm able to defend this time because we had just enough margin to get us into that corner, and again we've held him off for another lap. It's really getting quite, I was actually getting quite tense actually, I have to admit. I was starting to really enjoy this race, and I definitely will do more of these races if anyone wants to see more races against the AI, wants to see me actually racing. Obviously obviously we're not practiced like we would for a league race, but I find it really enjoyable to race the AI. It actually probably more enjoyable than going online sometimes, because you're getting real competitive racing, and you're pretty much 100% sure that they're not going to be making stupid moves. Although they are getting that break in, it was predictable, and I could predict that they were going to do it there, so I was aware of it all the time. So I knew that I could get out of the way if I had to. And we run a little bit wide on that corner. You can see I get slowed down, but what I found is if you do run wide, in general, when you run that wide, you lose in time anyway, because of obviously your grip out of the corner, and it disappears anyway, and you don't have to take any sort of penalty because you ran wide and got rid of any time that you would have gained anyway. So that's how I found out with the slowdown. You don't really need to take to even obey them really. You can just carry on as you would in general. Sometimes if you cut a corner and you're gaining like 5 seconds, you're gonna have to lift off and let it back. But if it's only like a 10th or something like that, I just carry on, because you find that it will just get rid of it anyway. To be fair, I think it's fair as well, because you wouldn't get a slow down in real life for one instant running wide like that. I think you have to do 3 or 4 or something like that in the Blancpain. But you can see again, I'm going defensive, going on that inside, trying to make sure he doesn't get any slipstream, and then I'm back in the line. Then look at this from behind. He looks like he's going to make another move. Look in the braking distance. Again, we're braking on that 115. He looks like he's braking so late there, and just about again I've managed to hold that off. He's not been able to make a move. If he was to follow me more through that chicane without making that move, I think he would have been a lot closer going into his second chicane. There's one thing about the AI, obviously they seem to follow a very set pattern of how they drive. Where obviously it's going to be complicated to set in things on the AI, but I have to say Assetto Corsa's AI feel more real life when you're racing them. They feel more unpredictable and more like they've got an actual intelligence to the way they move the race. I think in terms of competitiveness, this game is more fun to race, because they seem to be, you can set them so fast that you can't keep up with them, or you can set them so fast that you're in the midfield, battling away in the midfield. It's up to you how you set them. Obviously some tracks are dependent, some tracks you can probably win on 120% AI, but for this track 115% AI felt pretty much perfect for me. And you can see there he's getting in our slipstream. He's going to make he looked like he was making a move into that corner. I can see it, and I actually panicked a bit because I thought, is he going to just dive up the inside? But he didn't. He held off and he kept his line, and he actually lost out a bit on the exit because he obviously trying to make that move was not going to work there. And this is going to help me out going down this straight. But I think now, is he going to have a little look again going into turn 1? It's a real, is he close enough to, he's got really close down braking in. Look at the braking distances, he really makes a lot of time up on the braking. I'm trying to hold it around the outside, trying to get as much speed as I can to start this lap so that I can defend going into turn 1. I'm going to go down to the right hand side again, try and get him out the slipstream so that he can't make a lunge. But he looks a lot closer this time. Just keep your eye on that mirror. Is he going to make a move? I'm going to stay on my line now. Let's see if he pulls out. Let's see now. He pulls out, he makes a move, and he's got that move done by the looks of it. I'm going to try and hold down the outside. He accelerates, and look at the grip he gets on that there. And again, he manages to stay on the outside, but we've still got the lead. He's now going to have a look surely into this next chicane. Are we going to be able to defend with the braking that Audi has got? So going into the next corner, I'm going to try my best to defend this, although I'm not going to go to the inside because I don't really want to be going into this corner on the inside. So we're going to brake in our normal place, and just look at the braking he's got there. He brakes so late. I give the AI some space, he gets into the lead, and now we've got to just try and get on the rear of that Audi because we're in the slipstream. So now we can be the aggressor and try and get back into the lead, although with that braking that the Audi has got, it's going to be so hard to make a move anywhere on the track because you can just brake so late. So we're going to try our best. So we're not going to give up on this lead. We're going to try and get that lead back. And you're going to see now some great racing so far. I have to say, really exciting racing that I enjoyed a lot when I was taking part in this. And this is why I want to do more of these races, because it's just real entertaining. Getting really close to the slipstream then in the braking. We actually gained a lot on the braking then, but he was able to hold a much better line, and we got a little bit of oversteer as we were getting on the power, which really sacrificed our speed down this little bit of straight and lost us getting really close to the slipstream for the back straight. So again, we're going to try and get close on the braking, staying in 4th gear, then down to 3rd gear I found for the race. It just enabled me to just get a little better line, then early upshift into 4th. It enabled me to carry a little bit more speed into the corner and just helped with the braking a little bit. So you can see we're in the slipstream now. I'm going to have a little look, see how close we can get. But that Audi, look at the speed it's got in the straight line with the AI. We're in the slipstream and we're hardly gaining anything. It's really, I mean, the Ferrari isn't the fastest car in terms of straight line speed, but the Audi isn't either. We should have really been gaining there. It's really strange to see. And again, the exit they get from that corner, just so strong. We stayed in 2nd gear there. Maybe we should have gone down to 1st gear and got a better pull out of that corner, like we did on our qualifying lap. You can see again now we're going to try and get back into that slipstream to see if we can make a move. We're not close enough in this corner, but we're going to try and just make ourselves aware. So I don't know if the AI senses you around them. I don't know, sometimes some games they seem to be aware of you being near them, and sometimes they'll open the door up sometimes if you get too close. So I was trying to get as close as I physically could, but again, through the first part of Lesmo, they were able to carry so much speed through there. I just couldn't live with their speed through the first part of Lesmo. We ran a little bit wide then, but it gone straight away, so we obviously it knew we'd lost time in terms of actual speed. So it's okay, that system. I don't mind that system if it's aware that you're losing the speed. So again, we're back in the slipstream with this Audi R8. This corner I was able to brake pretty close to their speed, but then they were able to hold a much better line through that corner. Although this lap we've got our line a lot better through there, and we're on the power a lot better, although we're not as close to that Audi as I would like to be. We're really going to mount an attack in these last few laps. I really wanted to get this position back. I wanted to beat this AI. It actually got to the point where I felt like it was an actual online race, racing someone, and that's what the key is. The AI can be fun if you set them to the right level, and obviously the right aggression. I found that, I mean, they're aggressive enough in this race, and that was only on 40%. So it shows you that just setting the right amount of aggression and percentage for your ability can give some really good battles against the AI. And going into turn 1 again, we get late as I could on the brakes this time, trying to brake as late as I could to get back into his slipstream. And again, the speed they get, and we got oversteer on the exit just as we really nailed that chicane. We got a bit of oversteer on that corner, which lost us a bit of time, but we're still obviously up on our fastest lap. That's because we're in the slipstream and obviously really pushing at this point. I was back in trying to push as hard as I could, back in the slipstream. We're going to have a little look on this inside, and we get this chicane much better this time. I'm going to have a little look down this right hand side, possibly just let him know I'm aware there. Yeah, showing my front end to him, and again we can't really make a move there because of the speed they carry through them corners, but we managed to get a really nice exit on that corner. Look how much time we gained there, and then down into third gear for the second part of the Lesmo, early upshift into fourth gear and trying to get on the power. We got a really good chance now. I'm going to have a little, we go to the left hand side now. I thought he was going to give me space and he doesn't. We actually have a little bit of contact there. Going into this corner now, we're nearly in the lead at this point. We're side by side going down the straight, and is he going to brake really late? Look how late that Audi brakes into that corner and just still manages to hold the perfect line. We couldn't do that. There was no chance we could brake that late into that corner. I run a little bit wide on the exit there, obviously trying to push as hard as I could, and we've lost a little bit of time, but we're not going to give up. We've got one more lap to get this move made. Can we do it? It's going to be a real fight to the end. See, going into this final corner, I really needed to get a nice entry into that corner. We run a little bit wide again, early upshift into fourth gear. Still in the slipstream though, so we're able to gain slowly on him. You see the lap times obviously just gone down a bit, obviously with that battling going on. I think without the battling going on, we would have probably have got the fastest lap that we had done in the race, probably a 46.3 or something like that. But you can see now, back in the slipstream, braking very late, trying to hold the car in a straight line, down through into first gear, trying to attack the curb to get a nice clean exit. But just the pull that Audi was getting out of these corners and the braking ability, it was just so hard to make a move. So we've lost a bit of time on this lap. Are we going to be able to get close enough again to mount another attack before the end of the race? It's going to be really closest. You can see we're gaining a little bit in the slipstream there, down into the second gear. Try and take this chicane nice, and again we did it really nice that time. We nearly lost the rear end a bit. We went really aggressive into that chicane, but we managed to take a lot of speed. The guy behind us in the black Audi is struggling to keep with us at this point. You can see we're actually dropping him a little, very small amount. He's dropping back. I think, let's have a little look on the Delta. Yeah, he's 1.2 seconds. What is it, 1.2 seconds? Oh no, he's actually 0.6 seconds behind us, but we're 0.3 behind the guy ahead. And again, we're getting a big, strong slipstream off this guy at this point. And no, I'm not going to be able to make a move into this corner. So what I'm going to do is stay to the right hand side. I'm not going to try and make myself seen. I'm going to try and get a clean exit from this corner. So you can see, much tighter line in, then early upshift into fourth gear. I'm really trying to get a strong exit from that corner. We got a horrible little bit of oversteer on the exit there. Frustrating as well, because without that oversteer we could have been in a better position. But looking now, are we going to be able to mount attack? I'm going to have a little look down that right hand side. I'm going to look to see if we can make a move, try and brake as late as I can. But look how late he brakes, and again we're not able to mount the move into that final corner. But what a race. Going over the line now, you can see we're not going to be able to get past him, but an amazing battle against the AI. I thoroughly enjoyed this race, and I hope you guys did as well. I really did enjoy that race, and hopefully we can do more of these races using the setups that we create as well, because I did enjoy that, and I hope everyone else enjoyed it. And if you want to see more of these races, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Obviously we're on the cool down lap now, and there was a little bug again as usual, like the first game had. It gave me the win for this race, which is very strange. I don't know why it done it, but anyway, it was a great race. We took second place. Thoroughly enjoyed that. We're going to be back with more Project Cars 2, more GT Sport, and more Assetto Corsa videos very soon. Thanks again for watching, everyone.
Fantastic, great win.